Hey there, Aries. Welcome to your reading. This is part 2 for the year of 2023. Part 1 is linked up down below. We're just going to look at your 5th house in this first position here. Your 5th house has to do with romance, play, creativity, self-expression, good fortune. And intuitively, I feel there is going to be just a lot of good fortune for you this year. So, I feel like we're going to see like a lot of good stuff regarding your fortunes. It also has to do with children, and you have this child card right here. So some of you could be dealing with children. You could be having children, taking care of your children. You could be becoming more childlike as well. For whatever reason, I'm a big fan of childlike energy this year. Every single person has had like a focus on childlike energy coming into their life. So what I would say is anything that you can do to be more childlike, to be more playful, to be more curious about things. I think all of that would be a good idea for you. Especially with this energy. You have this wealthy man card and this child card. Again, I would, I have like weird messages popping into my head here. I feel like money could be going extremely well for you this year. I would kind of keep it to yourself is what I would say, Aries. I wouldn't be out there, flashing cash. I wouldn't be out there, buying super expensive things. Just not this year. And I'm not saying you can't, right? You could do whatever you want. But I do get a warning here, like especially if you know that you have greedy family members. If you have greedy people in your life, I would be careful of that. I would also say, like, if you're dealing with something legal, like a divorce, which we actually see here at the end of the reading, it's like you might just not want to be, throwing that all over the place, right? Is what I would say. I feel like that's like, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, like I said, but it just might be the one thing that could get you in trouble here. And so I'm just telling you that maybe you want to avoid it, right? For others, I do feel like you could be attracting a wealthy man or woman, take it how it resonates, or whatever gender, I don't care, right? So you could be attracting a wealthy person into your life. This person might have children or you might have children, but I'm getting a million things here. Again, I feel like you could be attracting a wealthy person who is just childlike. Maybe they have like a baby face, maybe they're just very playful. I feel like for some of you, they could have like a very kind of like a, like a clown spirit, like, like a Heyoka type person where they're kind of like, I feel like they kind of go against the grain in society, not in a bad way. I feel like they're just like eccentric, let's put it that way. You have the Queen of Swords, the Seven of Pentacles, or the Page of Wands here. This Queen of Swords, she's looking all the way across. It's like you're committing to something here, Aries, this year. I feel like you're more sure of yourself than you ever have been, which is interesting. Or this is what is developing for you. That type of energy could be the thing that is developing for you this year. It's like you're becoming more sure of yourself. You're becoming more confident in all these things. It's very interesting that you will have in 2026, Saturn will be entering into Aries. And, that'll be your first house. And yes, I know that's not this year, but what I would say is that it wouldn't surprise me if over the next few years you start becoming, until we get to that point, it wouldn't surprise me if you start becoming more responsible, more sure of yourself, more confident. And, it's almost like you could be getting ahead of Saturn, if that makes sense. Like you're getting ahead of the energy before it happens. I have heard people talk about this being possible. So, there you go. I would definitely do it. I also feel like you're seeing something very clearly as well. I kind of get this energy. I swear I've said this to you before, that you're like flipping something on its head. It's funny that those astrology cards came up in reverse. I definitely don't read oracle cards in reverse, but it is interesting because I'm pretty sure I said this to you. I think I titled one of your readings like a couple weeks ago, Turning the Tables or something, but it's not, if I'm being honest here, I don't think that's the right way to, put what I'm feeling here intuitively. For some of you, it's almost like you could be seeing the truth of a situation where maybe like someone had the upper hand. Maybe it was in a relationship and maybe they've always had the upper hand, but now like I feel like you're seeing it for what it is. It's almost like a mask is coming off of something here in your reading. I don't know. We're going to look into it in just a minute, obviously, but you have these Seven of Pentacles. There's definitely a change in your finances. We've been talking about this all year, 2022. It's definitely going to continue to 2023, but I feel like you're definitely going to be doing things that are more worth it is what I'm getting here, meaning that the energy you put in is going to be paying off much more, which you can't beat that, Aries. It's like things are much more worth it. It's like you're your energy expenditure. I feel like it's like much better. It's like you put work in and you're getting paid more or something. So I definitely like that. You have the Page of Wands here as well. I feel like you're seeing the world with like whole new eyes. Something is changing very significantly. Again, I'm not trying to be dramatic in your readings, but I've been picking up this energy up for you for like 3 months at least, I think, where it's like I feel that for some of you something is changing. Maybe sometimes you're still negative, or maybe you still go back to some old habits, but I feel like you find yourself kind of like drifting into these new ideas, these new, this new level of confidence, maybe where you haven't been confident before. And I kind of feel like sometimes I really wish I had a good way of explaining what I'm feeling. But it's almost like if I believed that I was, that I wasn't confident my whole entire life and people were always mean to me. But it's almost like you start drifting to these ideas of like, I am confident. And I feel like you even maybe you just like find yourself with like pulling your shoulders back and being more confident and things like that. But I feel like that's just one example. I feel like you could find yourself, it's almost like road hypnosis, right? If you've ever been driving and then you forget the whole entire drive and you're like where you were going and you're like, I don't even remember driving here. It's like, I kind of feel like there are things that are almost like automatically happening. And I don't want to keep babbling on about this, but I think you get it if it's happening for you. And again, clearly it's a good thing. With the Queen of Swords, you have this revenge card. No revenge this year. I would be very careful. I keep telling people Mars retrograde, do not try to get revenge on anything or anyone or anything like that. It'll just come back to bite you in the butt here is what I would say to you. So I would just like practice kind of like letting things go in general. With the Seven of Pentacles, you have this risk card. You always get this, that you're taking some sort of risk to make a change in work or business. And, I feel like the risk will pay off. I also feel like there are people who will help you with this risk is what I would say. So, don't be afraid to, ask people for help. For some of you, there might be like people that you look up to. And, I feel like you could surprise yourself this year with like the people that come into your life, the people that you could be meeting up with and communicating with and like all these things. So, don't be afraid to reach out to mentors or any of that stuff. With the Page of Wands, you have this caution card. I would just be, again, cautious of, sharing things. I am not getting pretty much anything about the fifth house, in your fifth house. But again, I read intuitively. I don't try to like force these things to fit, other than the childlike energy I definitely get in this row. But, I kind of get more of like needing to be careful who you say what to and kind of keeping things close to your chest this year. I wouldn't be paranoid about it, but, I would just keep an eye on it. Next, in your sixth house of your daily routine, your work habits, your health as well, you have this Series card. It says nurture, and this conjunction card that says alliance on it. See, I feel like you could definitely be forming like a work alliance with a person, and I feel it could be a very good connection. Again, I feel like you do need to be careful of who you are working for and with is what I would say. But here's the thing, is if you're going to be working with a person, I think the trick here is to make sure that not only, I don't even think you should be looking to work with people who are at the same level as you. I would go up a little bit, right? I'd say as long as you can look at the person and say they have like 10% more at least skills than I do, they're at least 10% smarter than me, they're at least 10% wiser, or they make 10% more money or whatever, right? I would be making sure that if you're like doing collaborations this year or working together with people, it's like they need to be at least 10% better is kind of what I'm getting here. Because I feel like if you go the other direction, that's where you're going to be, screwing yourself here with this energy. So I'd make sure that it's equal. And, again, you have this caution card. So that's where the caution is coming in, is make sure that the person actually can, do what they say. And I would be looking into that. The other thing I'm getting here is I definitely feel it'd be a great year to improve your health, to do anything involving your health. With this Series card, it says nurture on it. So, nurture yourself, take care of yourself. You even start with the Four of Swords. Four of Swords can say it's time to take a rest, or to make sure that you're resting and getting plenty of rest, nurturing yourself, taking care of yourself, all that other stuff. So you have the Four Swords, Four Cups, and the Magician here. See, I feel you've had bad experiences working with other people, number one. So, if you've been working with other people in the past, I feel that there have been a lot of challenges in doing that, or, just things have not worked how you wanted to. And I feel like the universe is like saying, like, okay, it didn't work in the past, but that doesn't mean that it can't work in the future. So, make sure to follow my 10% rule that I just came up with. And I feel like you'll be fine. I feel like it's when you're lowering yourself, that's where the problems are going to happen. And again, it's not about not helping someone who's like smaller than you. You know, it's like there might be opportunities. Maybe you have a business. There might be an opportunity for you to help a new person, but there's a difference between like helping them and just giving them everything, right? Giving them the keys to the castle. So, that's what I'd be careful of here. For others, I do feel like you're trying to improve your health, and I feel like you're trying to. It's kind of funny because it's like popping into my head that you're like either looking for a diet or maybe a new exercise routine, or maybe you're just looking to do something new. But I feel like you've been disappointed with that as well, although that could be changing. You have the Magician here, and the Magician is a card of manifestation, of course, grounding things in reality. I feel you are just mostly reinventing yourself here. He's got this snake around his waist, and that represents an Ouroboros. The Ouroboros is a snake eating its own tail, and it kind of represents like reinventing yourself, becoming a different person, doing things differently. So I do feel like you are kind of like making some changes here, Aries, and these are going to be positive changes, of course. But let's see what is going on for you. With the Four of Swords, you have the bluff card. I would be, this is like calling someone's bluff, is kind of what this represents. But I would make sure that someone isn't bluffing. If you have a person coming in that's like, let's collaborate in business or let's collaborate in work, I would kind of look at their credentials, and I would also ask for proof, right? You're not the only sign where I have said, like, look for evidence, basically. And like, I feel like you need to see solid evidence, right? I wouldn't just accept things that, people that come to you and stuff. It's kind of weird because I feel like maybe a lot of people are wanting to work with you this year, especially if you have a business. And again, I would ask for proof. Same thing in love as well. It's like maybe you have a lot of people that are approaching you, and I don't think you have to ask anyone for proof. That's weird. If you're like, I need to see your resume for past relationships. But what I would say is there are things that we can do. Do their words match their actions? Do they take action? Do they actually do something, right? We can look at those things, and we can make sure that they're not bluffing. So I wouldn't be paranoid about it, but I would think about it, With the Four of Cups, you have this concentration card here. I feel like some of you need to concentrate. I feel like some of you need to realize that you don't have to follow the rules of other people as well. It's like it's like if you look on diet YouTube, just giving you examples here, it's like there are people who are like, if you're not a vegan, you're basically the worst person on earth. There are other people who are like, if you don't eat meat, you're like the worst person on earth. So it's like, who do you listen to? The answer is you listen to yourself. So that's who you listen to. You don't listen to me. You don't listen to anyone else. You listen to what your body says or what you say, right? And that's that. Plain and simple. The other thing I would be looking at is the evidence as well. It's like if you're eating things that make you feel terrible, stop. If you're eating things that make you feel good, keep going, right? It's just that simple. So I would just be trusting the evidence with this energy, plain and simple. With the Magician, you have the Fortune card. Definitely good fortunes coming in for you here. I feel like these changes that you're making where, again, it's like highway hypnosis where you're just like kind of like operating automatically, but you're finding yourself being like, whoa, well, like where did that come from? Like some maybe personality change, but like in a good way, or maybe you're feeling more confident when you normally don't, or maybe you're coming up with ideas you normally don't. These things are going to be the things that bring you good fortune, plain and simple. Next, in the area of your 7th house of relationships, marriage, contracts, things like that. Could be any type of relationship. Doesn't have to just be love, by the way. You have this change in the wind card and the soulmates card. Some of you definitely could be meeting a soulmate. I feel like it could be a very surprising. You have the Tower here, but I don't always look at the Tower as a bad card. For some of you, I definitely feel like the Tower is a divorce. I feel like you're already going through it based off your last card that I can see from here. So you could already be going through it, and it is what it is. But for others, I just feel that there could be like a soulmate coming in for you. With the change in the wind card, I feel this person coming into your life is going to bring in changes into your life. I think that it's pretty much impossible for anyone living today to get into something new that doesn't cause change, just based off the astrology. I think all of us, if we want a relationship, if we get into one, it might require a move. It might require us to make some changes about our expectations or whatever. These are not bad things. Probably going to lead to something much better than we ever expected, but we have to be willing to make the change. I think a lot of us are being triggered right now in relationships. I'm starting to believe that it's like Neptune and Pisces, especially if you find yourself falling into a pattern, like if you always attract people who are distant, or if you always attract people who don't put the work in, or whatever. If you have like a similar story in love, I kind of feel like that could be part of it. And so I feel like you're attracting someone into your life. For some of you, the challenge here is like attracting a person and not feeling worthy. Like if you attract a person and you're like, oh, I'm not worthy of this. Number one, I wouldn't say anything, right? If you attract someone who's too good for you, like I always say, like if I attracted Kate Beckinsale into my life, my dream woman, I'm not gonna say, "Oh, Kate, you're too good for me," right? I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut, right? I'm not gonna talk about it. So I feel like for some of you, it's like you could be attracting someone who you feel like is a little too good, and I just wouldn't talk about it, right? I would just keep it to yourself here, Aries. I also do feel that you could literally be attracting people who are soulmates into your life, like friends, like new friends, people who want to assist you and help you. So it looks like a really good year for collaborating. You have the Two of Pentacles again, as long as you're following the evidence. You have the Two of Pentacles, King of Pentacles, and the Tower. I feel that you could be attracting a person who is an earth sign. Could just be a person who has a lot of earth in their chart. Funny thing is, I'm not feeling Taurus. Could just be, even though this card is Taurus, yes, I understand that, but I feel like it could be any of the other signs. It could be Capricorn or Virgo as well. Could just be a person who has a lot of earth in their chart, but I do feel like you're attracting someone who's very grounded, stable, and immovable is what I'm getting. I'm pretty sure that you had something similar in a recent reading. It seems to me like you're attracting a person where it's like, I feel like they can't be shaken. It's like they don't, nothing really gets to this person is what I'm saying. Like he has a very kind of like stern, stoic type of face going on there. That's what's standing out to me the most here, Aries. I feel like this person, it's like, there could be bombs dropping on this person's head, and I feel like they're like, what? They don't even care. So, I kind of feel you could be attracting a very stable person, like in a good way, obviously. You have the Two of Pentacles here. For some of you, I do feel like you could have dealt with juggling energy in the past. And, again, you could have had a person who juggled you, and I feel that could be what you are divorcing from if you happen to be going through a divorce. For others, I feel like you need to balance work and play. For some of you, if you want love, I feel like you need to make time for it, is what this Two of Pentacles is saying, because Two of Pentacles, like, work hard, play hard, so make sure to do that. I would also be careful of, like, bringing work into relationships. It's like I would try to separate the two things, right? You also have the Tower. Again, really, I just feel this is like a surprise love that's entering into your life. It could happen by surprise. For some of you, I feel like you could be attracting a person who has, where both of you have gone through Tower moments in relationships. You could be attracting a Scorpio as well, because I'm pretty sure Scorpio had some sort of story, and I'm getting the same thing for you here, Aries. That's why I'm telling you the story. It's like I'm getting like two people who went through the same thing, like shockingly similar stories in relationships, and I feel that you could be attracting a person who kind of like was a little bit blindsided by their person. I feel like the same thing for you if this part is for you, and it's like you're attracting a person where you went through something similar, but it's like you're each other's gift to each other is what I'm getting here. With the Two of Pentacles, you have this intuition card. Definitely trust your intuition. I feel like if you're in like a juggling situation, that your intuition has been telling you something isn't right, and I would just trust your intuition, plain and simple. With the King of Pentacles, you have this power card, Moon in Scorpio. Could be a Scorpio, but it could be any sign. This is a general reading, but it is funny. Could be a person who is a Moon in Scorpio. But I do feel you could be attracting a person who has a lot of power in life. They could be like a boss. They could be bossing up. They could be, a leader. They're in some sort of leadership position. Could be like an entrepreneur as well. I feel like this is a legitimate entrepreneur. This is not like someone who's like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, and you're like, oh, what do you do? And they're like, oh, right now nothing, but I'm working on it. That's not what this is. This is like someone who legitimately is like, oh, I own XYZ business, right? With the Tower, you have this health card. I would definitely watch your health. I would be careful of how relationships affect your health as well with this energy. But look, Virgo right here. So it could definitely be someone who has Virgo in their chart, just like I said. At the end here for your 8th house. 8th house is like other people's money, intimacy, debts, joint resources, things like that. You have this legal card that says dealing with legal issues or life lessons. It says, seek an expert, especially if you're handling a legal matter. Multiple people have had messages of needing to find an expert, so make sure that you do that if you're dealing with one of these issues. It says, then you have this life purpose card. It says, you found your life purpose, creating the life you want. You are manifesting. Recognize that you have everything you need. And again, I feel like you have everything you need. Some of you definitely could be going through a divorce. Again, 8th house is like shared resources. So obviously, if you're going through a divorce, it's like, there might be some like splitting of the resources and things like that. I would make sure that it's equal. I would make sure that you're not getting taken advantage of. You have the Six of Pentacles here as well. So again, if your lawyer sucks, then maybe it's time to get a new one, or maybe it's time to find someone else. I really don't feel legal issues for most of you. For most of you, I feel like this is mostly talking about kind of like karmic debts and karmic rewards, or you could be dealing with a karmic situation with a person as well for some of you. But again, I also feel that you could be discovering your life purpose, which we kind of talked about earlier. You have the Seven of Wands, the Six of Pentacles, and the Page of Swords. Seven of Wands is about defending your position at the top of the hill. So again, make sure that there is fairness if you are going through a divorce situation. Make sure that you are getting what is fair with that Six of Pentacles. Make sure you're not being taken advantage of. Make sure you're not being having things stolen from you and all that other stuff. But Seven of Wands is defending your position at the top of the hill. I also feel, again, this sense of confidence here, because Seven of Wands is like knowing that you know that you're going to get something. And this is that confidence that's developing. And again, I feel like it develops from like highway hypnosis, like I said earlier, like some sort of thing where you just start falling into these new patterns. And I would nurture those patterns. Like if you find yourself carrying yourself more confidently or whatever you're doing, I would keep doing it. And like when you notice it, I would do it more. That's what I feel like this is saying. Seven of Wands is, again, being very sure of yourself. You have the Six of Pentacles here, and you can see that he has this balance right here, just like on the Justice card. So I do feel like there is justice, but look, he's giving to one, but not the other. So there's something about needing to kind of balance equal give and take, or again, maybe I kind of have like a story, like if you're going through divorce, it's like maybe someone's trying to bully you or, get more out of you or something like that, or they're trying to not be fair. Basically, I would make sure that you don't let that happen. Obviously, legal situations are very complicated. I have no clue what I'm talking about, but I would try to find like a lawyer who does. You have the Page of Swords here. This could be involving children for some of you if you're going through a divorce. But on top of that, Page of Swords is a card of curiosity, and the 8th house is a card of mysteries. If there's anything mysterious going on in your life, I would look into it. These could be positive or negative mysteries, but Page of Swords always finds an answer. With the Seven of Wands, you have this vision card. I feel like you need to, like some of you are seeing your future, literally. This is the Sun in Pisces, this card here. And so very intuitive energy, but I literally feel you could be seeing your future. And that Seven of Wands is like saying, protect your future and, just go straight for it. For some of you, I feel it'd be a good year to like disappear from everyone, right? I don't think that's totally true, but I think for the most part, it's like maybe you're kind of protecting some ideas that you're working towards this year, and I would be very careful who you allow into your inner circle. Again, I think there's a difference between being paranoid and just kind of protecting, and I would protect. I wouldn't be paranoid. With the Six of Pentacles, you have the Romance card. Definitely love coming in for you. There's more intimacy for sure coming in for you this year. This card, again, always reminds me of the Two of Cups. They're dressed very similarly to the Two of Cups, these two people. And the Two of Cups is meant to represent two people who are very different from each other. So you could be attracting someone who's very different than your usual type, or just, a different type of person. With the Page of Swords, you have this versatility card. I feel like being flexible is clearly going to be very beneficial for you. So I would be as flexible as possible. But that's that, Aries. We're going to pull 5 themes for you as well to see if there's anything else I missed coming in for you. So let's see. You have this Axe card. It says forces working against you. I do feel I would be careful of like a divorce situation. That's really the only thing that's popping into my head here. The other thing that I would say is, again, I would keep your money close to your chest. I would, like, if you're making a bunch more money, you might just not want to talk about it. Because if you start talking about it, it's like, I don't know, you have a neighbor that's like, oh, I broke my leg, I need some money. Or maybe your like aunt is like, oh, I need money. Like all of a sudden, magically, right? So I would like, and it's not about not helping people, but it's like, do they really need the money? Like I get like people trying to take advantage of your kind heart. So don't allow it to happen. You have this Target card. It says a goal-oriented person. So I feel like you are becoming a goal-oriented person is really what this is saying. And it's because you see, like, the Seven of Wands from the Queen of Swords. At the beginning of the reading, we talked about this. It's like, I feel like you finally see what you need to commit to. I feel like you finally see, it's almost like you see what you're good at. And this could be like a talent, gift, skill, or ability. And it's like something that's going to make you money. So, love it. You have this Carrot card. It says opportunity or windfall. Could be a major opportunities coming in for you. More money, more success. You have this dog barking card. It says advice from a friend. Again, I would make sure, like 10% rule, like we talked about. If you're getting advice from people, make sure they're 10% better at least, right? You have this horse card. It says short journey. I feel like you're going to be, I mean, really just, I'm cheating looking at your astrology. I feel that there are probably a lot of short journeys that you could be taking over the next few years. It wouldn't surprise me if a lot of you just, kind of traveled a lot, or if you did like new things or tried new things at this time. But it looks really good here, Aries. So thank you for being here, Aries. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your Sun, Moon, and Rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your year.